Wrestling with Siblings. I am your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
And yes, I am back. My voice sounds 100% better. I am still not fully recovered, but I am officially back. Glad to be here. Hope you guys missed me last week. Armando had to host the show because I was gone. So I think he did a really good job. So drop a like for Armando, holding it down for last week's episode. Anyways, let's get into Raw. Again, Dolph Ziggler, Braun Strowman, and Drew McIntyre open up the show. And now again, the Shield comes out and they start talking about how Dean Ambrose runs on his own time, how he does what he wants. Nobody is the boss of him.
Yeah, that is correct. I feel like the goal of Braun Strowman, McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler is to break up the Shield. I mean, I feel they're pretty close to breaking up the Shield, but they're not there yet. But at the same time, they've been having problems between each other too. So it's kind of like going both ways. It seems like the plan is backfiring on them.
They know the weakest point is Dean Ambrose, so that's where they're trying to attack. That's how they're trying to get the Shield to split, because they know that when it comes to Seth or Roman, it's not that easy to convince them to just leave the Shield. But with Dean Ambrose, it's a little like brainwashing. You don't have the championship. They're using you for this. Many reasons why it's easier for them to have Dean turn than it is for anybody else.
And, I mean, a lot of the facts that Dolph Ziggler, Braun, and McIntyre have said are pretty much true. I mean, if you really think about it, Roman and Seth were struggling both with their opponents when they were feuding, and they had the numbers game. Now that they're even, they've been using Ambrose as the advantage.
And we see that in the first match, which is Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Again, an incredible match. Seth Rollins, incredible athleticism, as well as Drew McIntyre. I feel like Drew has just been getting better and better. Week after week after week, I believe he is the full package. He is 100% ready for a title, a bigger title than the tag titles, to put it that way.
I agree. It was a huge hit to put him with Dolph Ziggler and to give him the tag team titles, because it seems like he's getting, along with Dolph Ziggler, he's getting the reaction he needs from the crowd. So I think it's time for him to get the opportunity in singles competition, which we know he can do, and he's going to be up there in that level.
He's at the top of his game, and that's absolutely incredible right now. That's something that's really, really going to help him out, the fact that he's with Dolph Ziggler.
Again, you can see a lot of McIntyre's creativity during the match. There was a moment where he went under the ring, and he used the bottom of the ring. I guess the bottom of the ring is made out of like steel, I believe, metal, and he grabbed Seth Rollins and pulled him into the metal part, and I mean using brand new offensive maneuvers
to his advantage to try to become victorious. And then obviously Dolph Ziggler ends up coming out, and so does Dean Ambrose. And what does Dean Ambrose do? He helps. Again, this is the point that we were trying to make earlier. Dean Ambrose helping Seth Rollins advance to the World Cup to determine the best in the world.
And another thing, too, I feel the difference between McIntyre and Seth Rollins is that Seth Rollins is willing to take risks, is willing to pretty much put his career on the line to get the victory.
And his body on the line, exactly.
Just so he could get the win. And not only that, but also keep us entertained.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel like he is willing to go above and beyond on a weekly basis. Again, we've said his matches lately, they have been absolutely incredible. I think he's at the prime of his career right now. Even though he doesn't have like a high caliber title, he's still at the peak of his career because of the matches that he's having, the promos, and the feuds.
I mean, ever since he came back from his injury, I think he's better than what he was when he was champion. So
I agree. It's not just that he's a face, it's just that he came back a lot stronger from the injury. His moveset has completely shifted. It has completely moved, and I feel like he's doing an amazing job.
And we're seeing a little bit of that with Dean Ambrose. I mean, after his injury, he's come back a lot stronger with new moveset. So sometimes injuries do help you out to get better, to work harder.
Yeah, you can reinvent yourself while you're basically on vacation, being injured, and trying to, get back into the ring and back to doing what it is that you do. And sometimes you just come back better than ever. So as we already mentioned before, Dean Ambrose got involved in the match, which helped out Seth Rollins, but he won via countout because they both got a double countout, I believe. Seth made it back into the ring on time.
And therefore, Seth Rollins qualifies to Crown Jewel for the WWE World Cup.
Exactly. Hey, I'm glad that he was the one that qualified. I do think that wasn't the way he wanted to win. You can kind of see it on his face expression. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. All right, moving on. Let's get into Ember Moon and Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke and Tamina. The return of Tamina. Obviously, we haven't seen her since, I want to say, the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I think that was her last match. Again, we had a pretty cool moment. Tamina and Nia Jax again, one-on-one, kind of just facing each other. It gives you, when you do that, it gives you like a new, wow, what's going to happen type of thing. It's kind of like supremacy type.
Not only that, but it's the two women that are the powerhouses of the
division.
Of the WWE right now.
And we do know we don't have a lot of powerhouse women in the WWE. There's very, very, very few of them, and I feel like these two women are some of those. And Ember Moon, an incredible talent, absolutely incredible athleticism-wise. Dana Brooke, I want to see more of her. I always want to see more of her. I always feel like when given the opportunity, she's ready to always show what she has in store. And I feel like she's been trying so hard and doing a lot more. That you can tell in the ring that she's been getting a lot better.
Definitely have to agree with you on that one. And then we also saw Tamina. I mean, she came back. She looked good. I mean, and she really impresses because she was able to pick up Nia Jax, and execute. I believe it was the Samoa drop. Yeah. So, I mean, that's very, very impressive. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier with Dean Ambrose, sometimes injuries help you reinvent yourself.
And she did a fantastic job in this match. You can obviously tell she hasn't lost it yet. She's very well still where she was when she got injured.
And then I feel that this group of women that wrestled should get a little bit more of wrestling time, more TV time. Like I said, we have 4 incredible women that pretty much are the future. I mean, Nia Jax, she's already been champion, and she did a phenomenal job. We have Ember Moon, which she's gonna be a champion pretty soon, though. No doubt about it.
Exactly, and Ember Moon again, every single time gets 100% better. And I feel like what you said with Seth Rollins, she's willing to put her body on the line. She's willing to sacrifice her career for our entertainment. And that's something that we got to give her props for, because she's always going above and beyond to deliver, and she always does.
Yeah, definitely with Ember Moon. She's just one that we have to keep an eye out, just like Ruby Riott. I think those two are going to be the future of the women's division. Not only in Raw, but also in SmackDown.
All right, that's enough for that. Now let's get into something that's been buzzing for the last couple of weeks. Ronda Rousey, as we do know, last week she got attacked by the Bella Twins. This week she comes back and she's like, hey, I want an explanation. Why did you guys attack me? Why did you guys do what you guys did? She didn't think it was fair. And she also doesn't think that Nikki is deserving of a match with her. Again, I know it's a storyline. I am 100% aware of that. But I do feel like the Bellas played a humongous role in the women's evolution, like we've said in the last couple of podcasts. And I feel like Ronda going forward is going to play an even bigger role carrying the women's division to where it's supposed to be.
Definitely have to agree with you again on the Bellas, the fact that they were a huge part of the women's evolution. But I can see also the way why the Bellas attacked Ronda. It's just, put it this way. let's say you have an outsider that doesn't know anything about your business and pretty much takes your spot. It's the same thing with Ronda. She's coming in not having the experience, and she's getting all this attention. She's getting all this, everything that the Bellas worked for.
But that's because she's a mainstream star.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Bellas. They're mainstream stars. And obviously, you say the word Ronda Rousey, you're immediately going to be like, what happened with Ronda Rousey? Somebody would just tell you her name, and you'll go and research what happened. Same thing with the Bella Twins. Somebody would be like, the Bella Twins? What happened with the Bella Twins? And I feel like that's what plays a huge role in this feud, because they're two very successful women outside of the WWE and two big mainstream stars outside of WWE.
Well, yeah, it's obvious that you want to tune in and see what both the Bellas
exactly.
and Ronda Rousey are doing. But again, you kind of see what I'm saying. You know, it's like, you know, someone comes and that hasn't really been there throughout the entire journey, and
they automatically think they're better than you, and then I immediately want to replace you.
But overall, it's a great storyline, just because of the feud. Like you said, you have both.
And sorry, keep going.
You have both mainstream women that you know take up the spotlight.
I do want to get into something really quickly. The Bellas gave a few points, and I want to get into each of them. The first one that they said is that they were at the forefront of the evolution. They're right. They were at the forefront because they were in that match that started the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, as well as Paige and as well as Emma. That match was super short, and it was trending, as we know, for super, super long. I do feel like without that match, there would have been no Give Divas a Chance type of thing. I feel like the name Divas was called, you know, it wasn't really taken as serious as it should have been. And to be honest, without the Divas, we wouldn't be at the women's evolution era that we are now.
Yeah, I think all of them played a huge part on the women's evolution.
And again, the other point that she gets to is the term diva actually means something. I already got into that. It does mean something. They made it mean something. They were working with what they had, 2-minute matches, and the championship that they had to try to make it work. Reality show that put more women in arenas. I agree with that as well, because I personally know people that are like, oh, you watch wrestling? Do you watch Total Divas? I don't watch wrestling, but I watch Total Divas, and it's like new people are tuning in because of the show, and they know who the characters are, and they know what goes on behind the scenes. And I do feel like that's another thing we have to give credit to the Bellas for.
Definitely. I mean, everything in general that they've done, it has played a huge part in the WWE, attracting the new fan base, like you said. You know, watching Total Divas, it's like, okay, I'm not going to watch wrestling, but hey, this show is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
you know, it's going to catch my attention. The new brand that they have, Birdie B.
Fashion, clothing line. People that like wine are gonna do Bella Radici. So they're building an empire, and I do feel all these parts play a really huge role in the women's evolution.
And not only that, but like the fact that they walk red carpets, that they've been in talk shows, so it's all
award shows and
the attention into WWE.
Yeah.
So we have to definitely agree that the Bellas played a huge factor in the women's evolution, and are still playing a huge factor on it. You know, just because is this gonna be their last run, which most likely
it is.
It is. So it's like you're now gonna be like, okay, so now are the Bellas? What are they going to do next?
Trust me. And when they are gone, you are going to miss them in the ring. And then Ronda has 4 points that she wanted to make, the Do Nothing Bellas. Again, we've already gotten into that. They've done a whole lot for the women's division. I feel like, and not to degrade anybody, but I feel like they've done more for the women's evolution than anybody else. Obviously, everybody else put WWE and the women's evolution, women's wrestling on the map. She said they're attention seekers. I don't know. That's a kind of a hit or miss. That's kind of a 50-50 with that one. And then they also said they have no talent. And then the other one is that they're there because of their men.
Not necessarily. Because they were already big stars before, before Brie started dating Daniel Bryan and Nikki, John Cena. So I don't agree with that. I have to disagree with that one on Ronda. With Ronda.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I feel like people need to stop using the whole Daniel Bryan and John Cena thing as a comeback or as a you're only here because of them. That's not true. They have a business two businesses without Brian and John, and they still have 2 reality shows without John and Brian. So it comes from hard work. They have been here for over a decade.
But not only that, this feud is going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing the match. It's going to be super interesting to see what both Nikki and Ronda do in the ring. Again, you have Nikki that's super talented in the ring. I think out of Nikki and Brie, I think Nikki's the one that has more in-ring skills, a little bit of more mic skills too than Brie. So it should be a very, very great and interesting match. I think that's probably going to be the main event and something that we're all looking forward to see, just to see, the longest reigning Divas champion, versus
the current champion.
Which, it's going to be, and then just not only that, the feud that has been built up so far. It's only been a week since Nikki attacked her, and I'm pretty sure everybody's already interested in what's going to happen.
I know we are. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Again, 2 mainstream stars. Ronda Rousey, she has given so much to the women's division now, and I feel like this is going to be a fantastic match.
And this is going to be a very, very crucial match for Ronda Rousey. It's probably going to be the most important match she's had since she pretty much started her career in the WWE, just because of the fact that she's facing Nikki Bella again, because of who Nikki Bella is and what she's done for the company.
Exactly. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for another World Cup qualifying match at Crown Jewel. Ambrose more aggressive than usual. I feel like this week he was more on the aggressive type of persona than he usually is. He's usually super hype. This time I felt like he was more serious and more aggressive, more how do you want to say it? More cruel towards his opponent than he usually is.
No mercy. I think he's just the fact that his head's all over the place and he's just trying to relieve all that frustration. And I think we saw that against Dolph Ziggler, and that's exactly what you were talking about.
Exactly. And Dolph Ziggler, again, always having some of the greatest matches in the roster right now. He, absolutely incredible. I absolutely love his matches.
Same thing, too, like I've been saying for in the past podcast. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, for me, are the top 2 competitors, the most talented athletes in the Raw roster. Right now, from what I've seen, if his matches have proved them, when they were feuding against each other, we saw it all. I think it was one of the best feuds in Raw so far this year.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I do think you have a point there. He's had some incredible matches, and I feel like he's continued to have those incredible matches. And the good thing about Dolph Ziggler is it doesn't matter who you put him up against. He's always going to give you a 10 out of 10 match. Yeah. He's always going to deliver.
Yeah, he always delivers, and he's always on top of his game, looking for new movesets. And again, he's another, like Seth Rollins, that's willing to put his body on the line just to entertain everybody, to prove that he's the best. And I think this tournament, and Dolph Ziggler qualified.
No, Dolph Ziggler qualified. Yeah,
Dolph Ziggler qualified. So what better, to prove himself that he is the best in the world by winning the World Cup. I'm not saying he's gonna win, but this is pretty much a chance for him to prove that he is the best in the world.
And Seth Rollins, he comes out to help, and he ended up costing Dean Ambrose the match. And again, it's the little thing, it's the very little details that is what puts you against your partner at this point.
Another thing too, like we've been mentioning, we've been seeing for the past couple weeks, this trio has been interfering in each other's matches.
Exactly.
And they all been making the difference. We saw it with the McIntyre
and Seth Rollins match at the beginning of the show.
Match, that Dean Ambrose made the difference in that match. And on this one, Seth Rollins made the difference. So they're all getting involved between each other's matches.
Yeah. And there was like another type of small little, brawl. And then that's where the main event came to be, where it was going to be the Shield versus McIntyre, Ziggler, and Braun. And they all had to learn to get on the same page.
And before we move on, we got to talk about Dean's possible
heel turn.
It's getting teased by WWE. We see it every week. It's just like, oh, is he going to turn now because of the actions he's done? Last week he walked out of the arena, and after the match he just left his brothers hanging there. So, I mean, it's close. We just don't know when. That it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Exactly. It's bound to happen at this point. I don't know when, how, where, but it's for sure going to happen sometime soon. All right, let's get into the next match, which was Finn Balor with Bayley versus Jinder Mahal, and he was with the Steen brothers and Alicia Fox.
Again, Finn Balor starting off the match very great, very good, showing off his incredible speed, his high-flying skills.
He hardly allowed Jinder Mahal to kind of just take shots at him, which is really, really good because it shows you something. It's like he's willing to put his opponent down, and I'm glad he's finally being used. Again, for those of you that don't know, the reason why Bayley came out with him is because of the Mixed Match Challenge. And Sasha has been gone, so she's just been kind of just thrown with Finn.
Yeah, I mean, like we said before, Finn Balor and Bayley, they're kind of like the lost souls of the WWE, of Raw.
Exactly.
They really haven't had a great push since they were both champions. You know, Bayley being Raw Women's Champion and Finn Balor being Universal Champion. Their career kind of just haven't been floating. You know, we did see with Bayley, she's been, very successful so far, partnering up with Sasha Banks. So it's just, I would like to see more of her.
All right, Finn Balor, as we've said, Armando pretty much covered it all. He's pretty much just lost, wandering around, trying to find a feud to be with Jinder Mahal again. I feel like he's been kind of just doing the same thing ever since he was kind of just drafted to Raw. He hasn't really done much in Raw. The match was super, super short. There really is nothing much to talk about because it was like maybe under like 5 minutes to be exact.
Yeah, that's one of the downfalls when it's a really short match. Like, they really don't have time to actually analyze the entire match. And,
exactly.
I mean, we know about both Finn Balor and Jinder Mahal's talents. They were...
Could have been a great match.
Jinder was champion over at SmackDown, and, I feel like he did a great job. But it's just, he's been stuck in the middle. I mean, he just really hasn't had that push yet.
Yeah. And Finn Balor ended up winning this match. Now, let's get into Bobby Lashley versus Tyler Breeze. Sorry, I still get confused when I hear Bobby. I'm still used to having Bobby Roode. But anyways, it was Bobby Lashley versus Tyler Breeze. Again, Leo Rush with the stupid microphone. He's at ringside. He starts talking. And I feel like this time he wasn't talking as much as he did, last week. But it's still really annoying to hear Lashley constantly during the match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel not only it takes away the attention from the match because you're now focused on Leo Rush instead of the match. And not only that, it's be real. I mean, it's getting on I'm pretty sure it gets on everybody's nerves.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we're not used to having somebody talk
during the matches.
I mean, we have the commentators, that's different.
But that's different, yeah.
But, I mean, having Leo Rush, saying Lashley.
Constantly every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
But, like I said, it's something new. I personally don't like it. I think partnering up with Leo Rush is great because, you need someone that has the mic skills.
Yeah.
For Bobby Lashley.
But, hey, if it's going to help him, sure. But I don't think they should be doing it on a weekly basis. It's just something that people are just not looking forward to.
I feel that's been helping him. I mean, he's been getting a little winning streak, lately these past couple of matches.
I do feel, though, since Leo Rush claims to be, like, the brain side of Bobby Lashley, I do feel like it's part of his plan. I feel like it's kind of playing mind games with his opponent because we've seen over the last 2 weeks that his opponent, Bobby Lashley's opponents, get kind of thrown off, that they get kind of distracted by Leo Rush being at ringside just screaming, Lashley. So it's another strategic plan from Leo Rush to help Lashley win, and I think it's brilliant, but it's really annoying.
Like we said, it's just that the opponent
exactly
gets annoyed and just wants to punch him in the face.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I mean, if I was in the ring too and someone were to be yelling that and, causing a distraction like that at ringside, it'll get to the point where I will want to punch him in the face or like, dude, get out of here. Like,
yeah, stop interfering in my match.
Yeah.
And Tyler Breeze, somebody we don't really see on TV now since Breezango. Glad he was able to be back, but I feel like he should have gotten more time on TV to like really, really put himself out there, you know?
Yeah. That's pretty much the downfall of, sometimes of the Raw roster. There's so much talent and that they really can't squeeze everybody in there. It's just that they're so stacked.
Exactly. Makes sense, I guess. Let's get into the 2 Hall of Famers, the besties, Trish Stratus and Lita. They couldn't even get a sentence out before they were immediately interrupted by Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Alexa and Mickie pretty much come out to promote Evolution, their match with them, and they're pretty much mocking Trish and Lita. Team Bestie again, 2 of the top women in the roster, and now that I feel like they're back, they're really going to take the women's division to a whole new level. We did see what they had done before when there was no Evolution. These women, pioneers to the women's evolution.
One thing that I would really like to see is both Trish and Lita have one last final run in the WWE.
Full run is what he means, not like they're doing now where they just came back from Evolution.
have like at least a year, where
a couple months,
maybe 6 months, maybe up until, if anything, till Mania or SummerSlam. SummerSlam would be great just because it's one of the top 4 pay-per-views.
And
just because I would really like to see them face some of the talent in this roster. I mean, like we've been saying, imagine Lita and Trish maybe versus Bayley versus Sasha versus Charlotte.
The Iconics, Carmella, Asuka.
They were great when they were just them. Lita and Trish were great when it was just them 2. But imagine, like I've been saying, what they could do with more women to work with.
And the new roster of incredible talent that they have right now. This roster is completely stacked. They could do amazing things with it. And again, Alexa and Mickie start telling Trish and Lita that they should start practicing. I don't think they need practice. I think they're ready. They've been doing this for years, and I don't think they need practice. I think, if anything, they're going to come into this match better than they were before, better than ever. And they're going to give it to Alexa and Mickie.
Yes, I will. You pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. That Trish and Lita do not need any practice. They're going to come out full head of steam. And not only that, they got a very special motivation just because it's Evolution and the all-first woman pay-per-view. That they're going to want to show what they showed in the past now that they are 2 of the women that are pretty much the reason why Evolution is happening. The pioneers. Yeah,
why we are where we are today. Alexa and Mickie, though. Mickie, again, has experience. She's faced both Lita. She's faced both Trish Stratus. She has experience. She knows how they both work. Alexa, she's gonna see what it's like to step foot with a real veteran, with a real pioneer. And I feel like Alexa's going to do a fantastic job in this match with both women. I know, we know the amount of talent that she has and what she's capable of doing in the ring.
And you hit a very important point. I think Mickie James is going to have to do a lot in this match just because you said that she knows both Lita and Trish very well and feud with both of them. So she's kind of going to mentor Alexa as far as like, look, this is Trish's weakness. She lacks on this. Same thing with Lita. So she's going to play a huge role in the match for sure.
In mentoring Alexa, for sure.
Yeah, or in the match just in general. Not mentoring, but just also in the match in general.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. Let's get into El Conquistador, which was Kurt Angle last week versus AOP. This match was not fair at all. We ended up finding out that Kurt Angle, smart, brilliant, this is why he was the general manager. He didn't insert himself into the match. He was like, you know what, I'm just going to get a jobber. We said jobber because we didn't know what his name was. Sorry. Don't mean to offend anybody. We didn't know what his name was, so he put a jobber out there to face AOP. And we do know Corbin was sitting, not ringside, but he was sitting, at the ramp, kind of just watching the match. That was an unfair predicament. Again, AOP, I think they should be doing more than what they are doing now. But I feel like it's a good start just to kind of build them, to kind of just show the strength that they have. But they should be facing other people.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it, again, like I said previously, we saw them against the Shield. They were very, very impressive. But yeah, they need to start from the bottom and pretty much work their way up. You know, they just can't get thrown into the tag division, into the tag team championships just like that. It's just, they gotta, like you said, they gotta start somewhere.
They gotta prove themselves first.
Yeah, and for that, they gotta go through the entire rosters, which is gonna be a very long process.
And then Kurt Angle comes out and he angle slams Baron Corbin. That's pretty much it. Again, another super short match, but it was a stacked Raw. I gotta give them that. All right, let's get into another women's match. Natalya versus Ruby Riott. Again, two of the greatest women's wrestlers that we have right now. Ruby Riott was with Liv and Sarah Logan. And Natalya, let's mention something. She brings back up. She's not by herself. She brings none other than Bayley. And we finally see the return of Sasha Banks. I'm glad she's going to be at Evolution. I was kind of concerned. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, oh my God, if Sasha isn't at Evolution, it's going to be a big deal. Because she's played a huge role getting to where we are today.
Glad to see Sasha Banks back. You know, this means there's going to be more of Bayley, you know, which we want to see too. Not just because she's from our hometown, but because she's extremely talented. And Sasha, she's, other than Charlotte and Becky, I think she's the other woman that's been part of all the history matches that they've had so far.
Ruby Riott, I feel like this was another big opportunity for her to prove herself just because of who she's going up against. You know, she's going up against a very skilled, very experienced superstar, which is Natalya. And again, she proved herself. She gave Natalya a fight.
And another thing too that I've been noticing week after week is just that Ruby Riott has been dominating most of the matches, which is good because it shows that she's able to carry a match. And I think that's crucial nowadays in the WWE, because if you're able to carry the match, you know, you're pretty much, you know,
golden.
You know,
Exactly.
You pretty much made it, and that's one of the key factors. And her matches are always good too.
And not only that, but she was facing Natalya, you know, as I mentioned it earlier, super skilled, incredible athleticism. I think Natty did a really good job in helping Ruby Riott. Again, Ruby Riott proved herself, gave her a match, and she was in good hands. You know, obviously Natty was going to make her look absolutely fantastic, and we have seen Ruby Riott look better each and every single week.
I think another thing too, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but we feel that the Riott Squad is pretty much the shield of the women's division. Just because of the way they're acting, they're always together, they're in the back, causing destruction, bullying all the women. That's how the Shield started at first, if you remember.
Yeah,
They called themselves the House Adjusted. They would come out and just triple powerbomb whoever they wanted, whoever they felt wasn't treating everybody else fair. So that kind of that's just an example of what I think that the Riott Squad, you know, you could compare to.
I don't think anybody has been able to match them either equally. I know we had Absolution, but it wasn't the same. Like, the Riott Squad is at a different level. They are at the level they're supposed to be. They get along super well. They have everything that a faction should have. And I feel like that's what makes them even more dangerous and even more powerful. The fact that they know each other super well and they're willing to work with each other to get to where they all want to be. And they have each other's back. That's super important. We haven't seen them get into fights just yet.
And that's very, very key. Very important, because once that fight and the jealousy starts to happen, then that's when the problems start to begin.
And that's when they end up splitting.
And that's when trust issues begin. And it's
exactly.
And I feel like if they were to have a problem, they'll solve it right away.
Exactly. I feel like Ruby Riott would be the one to stop the arguments from happening, just because she is the leader and she's been doing a fantastic job, like you've said before in other podcasts, leading the Riott Squad.
And the only way I see the Riott Squad breaking up is if Ruby Riott gets transferred to
anybody else.
So that's the only way I see them splitting up. I don't see them, betraying each other or turning on each other. It's just going to be when it comes down to the draft, or the shake-up, whatever you guys want to call it. I feel that that's going to be when they're going to split up if Which I would personally like to see Ruby Riott in singles competition.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you would agree with me, and also you guys. She has a lot of potential. And I would really like to see her in SmackDown just because I feel that she'll get more opportunity there.
She'll do a lot better than what she is doing now. Okay, let's get into the main... Well, actually, Elias and Apollo Crews, he basically just interrupts. They get into a little altercation. It's no big deal. Alright, let's get into the Shield. First is Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre again. I feel like it's part of the plan that Braun has to win the Universal Championship because, remember, he wants to win it. And I feel like part of his plan is to break up the Shield because he knows that as long as the Shield is together, he's never, ever going to win the Universal Championship. And when he splits up the Shield, that is his chance to get at Roman and win the championship. And another reason why I feel like he wants to split them is because the Shield screwed him over out of winning the championship, twice? 2 or 3 times, I believe.
The very first time when he was going to cash in. And
at Raw.
Like, you pretty much took what I was going to say, that he was trying to cash in the first time, at Raw, and the Shield comes out. This is when Dean came back and pretty much stopped it from happening.
Exactly, and I feel like that was part of his plan. And that's the only way he's going to get it. And he knows 100% that the moment he splits them up, that's it. He's winning the championship. Otherwise, he's getting nowhere near that title.
And not only that, but I think Dolph and McIntyre know that if the Shield's together, they have a less possibility of being tag champions. Because we know Roman is not going to focus on the tag titles. He's going to focus on defending his Universal title. So that leaves Seth Rollins by himself. He's going to have to find another tag partner, which I'm pretty sure he won't struggle to find a tag partner. But what better way to have a tag partner like Dean Ambrose?
Exactly. Somebody he knows super, super well. Dean Ambrose, he's known him for years. They basically, all 3 of these men basically started their career at the same time. They were brought up at the same time from NXT to the main roster. And
like we said, Raw is pretty much built around
these 6 guys.
Mainly the Shield members.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll see what happens.
McIntyre, Ziggler, and Braun taking it to the Shield, giving them a fight again. We've seen all of them, and they've all their matches have been something new, something different each time. But we do know that at the end of the day, somebody's going to get involved, which is what causes problems. And we did see McIntyre and Ziggler have some problems, some disagreements, as well as Seth and Dean Ambrose. And that's what I'm trying to say. McIntyre, Ziggler, and Braun, they know that if they can push Dean to his limits, he will leave the Shield. And they know that the moment he does that, it's ball game. They run the whole thing. Yeah. Because the Shield can't just be 2 people. And they can't just replace a member of the Shield with anybody else. So once you're missing one member, that's it. The Shield becomes vulnerable. They become somebody that you can easily defeat now.
Yeah, and like you said, it's all a plan. And like I said, Roman's going to focus on his title.
Exactly.
And now Seth is going to have to focus on his Intercontinental Championship.
Exactly. Again, overall, the match was great, was fantastic. I loved it.
So far, the feud has been great too. Like we said, we've seen a lot of new things from both sides. New moves, a lot of creativity on the feud. We love it. Hopefully, it continues, but not for too long. Because I would like to see all these guys back on singles competition.
And again, another point that I have to get into really, really quickly before we get into SmackDown. Braun Strowman took out McIntyre and Ziggler, which means, is he going to take them back? Or is he going to come up with the new tag team? Now, personally, I think partner him up with AOP, the guy will be undefeated. Basically, he will be so dominant that he can take down the Shield. He doesn't need to split them up. He would be such a dominant force with AOP, but I don't know if that's the way they're trying to go or if they're just going to bring them back together.
And like I said, I've been mentioning this to the past
5 podcasts.
That I would really like to see AOP with someone
big,
more relevant, that's really going to take them to the next level. Because they're there, it's just they need that person. And if we feel that either Braun Strowman was gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's what you feel. I feel that it was Kevin Owens, but now I don't see that happening just because of his injury anytime soon.
I mean, I've always agreed with Kevin Owens, but he's out of action right now, and AOP needs somebody now. And I feel like the only other guy that can do it in the roster is Braun Strowman as of right now.
With Maverick, it's going to be a long process. If they want to make a statement and be more relevant, they're going to have to partner with someone like Braun Strowman, which is going to give them the tag titles quick like that.
The recognition that they need.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Ziggler and McIntyre. They partnered with Strowman and they immediately won the tag titles. All right, that's enough for Raw. Let's get into SmackDown 1000 in Washington, D.C. Truth TV with Carmella starts off SmackDown Live. Again, super creative. I love what they're doing with these two. I know it's just for the Mixed Match Challenge, but I would want it to go beyond that, only because it's been super entertaining. It's been something different. It's brought new stuff to the table. Carmella, I love what they're doing with her character now. Yeah, she's a face now, but it's working out for her, especially because she has somebody like Truth carrying her, and she does a great job carrying him.
And really, who doesn't like R-Truth?
Exactly.
The guy is super talented. He's funny. You know, comes up with creative ways of entertaining everybody. And not only that, they've been having fun together.
Exactly.
As far as being in the ring, and I think that's crucial. And everybody seems to like it. And I mean, we saw it. Everybody wants to see Truth TV.
Exactly. And you can seriously tell, piggybacking on what you said, you can tell that Truth and Carmella are really, really enjoying themselves doing this. Again, Stephanie McMahon, she interrupts, she comes out. Then Shane McMahon comes out. And then Vince McMahon comes out. Obviously, it was pretty much like a McMahon reunion. They were all there. Promotion for SmackDown 1000. And something that was super creative, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, and Shane all start dance break, and they all start dancing. I thought that was a pretty cool moment, just because you don't really get to see that from the McMahons, especially Stephanie, who's a heel, and then Vince, you hardly ever get to see him, and when you do get to see him, he's kind of more serious. You know what I mean? All right.
So now we're moving on to the first match of SmackDown 1000, which was a great match. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos. Again, I like where they went with this match. We have the number one contender for the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan, and the champion, AJ Styles versus the Usos.
Partnering up together.
I mean, this match overall, just the name says it all. And it's gonna sure it was interesting.
You had four of the top talents. We have gotten a lot into the Usos lately. Every match that they are in, they absolutely deliver. They are the best tag team in the WWE. I don't just want to say SmackDown, because they are the best tag team overall in the WWE. And I feel like they've been here for so long now that they know the business super well. They know how to get the crowd to react. And their athleticism is amazing. They always deliver.
And in this match, it was really hard to pick a winning tag team.
Exactly.
You know, just because you have AJ, like we've been mentioning, that he's super talented overall. We think he's the best wrestler in the WWE, if not in the world.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles seem to be on the same page, which is good, because as long as you don't have those little problems, then you're fine. You are able to coexist.
Well, right now they're on the same page. I want to see in a couple weeks when they face each other at
Crown Jewel. Well, yeah, but as we do know, like, Daniel Bryan accidentally hit AJ, and that's what kind of caused a little disagreement.
And I feel that this is going to be the beginning of the feud of them. I mean, they're already feuding, but it's going to be what triggers it to, like, you know, go off on each other, you know, to start coming out and interrupting matches.
It will start the actual beginning of the feud. The Usos, absolutely incredible. All right, let's get into the Return of Evolution. There isn't much to talk about this segment. Pretty much Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Batista all come out, and they kind of just all share one of the greatest moments that they've lived in SmackDown. Batista, again, saying the crowd, you know, being able to perform is one of the greatest things.
It was mainly, they were all talking smack about each other, bashing on each other. You know, they were pretty much bragging rights. It was pretty much, their egos got to them.
Exactly.
But, I mean, other than that, it was great to see Evolution back. I mean, between all of them, I believe they have, 40 world titles,
Well, let's see.
Ric Flair has
16. Randy Orton has, 12? 13?
12, 13. I think Triple H is around there, too.
Around the same thing, and then Batista.
He's the one that has the least out of all of them. But even then, I mean, you have...
Yeah.
4 world champions, elite, top of the top.
Talent coming together for a very, very special episode of SmackDown 1000. So now let's get into the next match, which was The Miz versus Rusev for the World Cup qualifying match at Crown Jewel. This match was literally like a minute and a half long. The reason why was because Aiden English had to interfere in the match. Ended up costing Rusev the match, so he ended up not qualifying. There really isn't much to say. I mean, it was pretty obvious that The Miz was going to qualify regardless of the distraction. I still think he was going to be one of the person to qualify. I'm surprised he's not on the title picture. I did think he was going to find some way into the title picture. It looks like that's not it. All right, let's get into the cutting edge. Obviously, he comes out, he's holding his show there. He talks about some of the greatest things that happened to him in SmackDown, the cash-in against Undertaker, no disqualification match against Eddie, married and divorced Vicky Guerrero on SmackDown. Yeah. And then he has a special guest, Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Again, this feud has been incredible over the last couple of months. I was going to say weeks, but it's been a few months now since they've been feuding. It's 2 months already, 2.5 months. We're getting this match again at Evolution. Becky comes out and pretty much insults Edge and tells him to get the hell out of her ring and not to hurt himself getting out. That was a low blow.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think we all love Becky Lynch as heel. I think it was what she needed in her career right now.
Exactly. Alright, that's pretty much all there is for that. I mean, Charlotte comes out and pretty much attacks her. She's ready to go up against her at Evolution, and she's really confident that she's going to take the title from her.
Other than the Ronda and Nikki match, and probably the Trish and Lita versus Mickie James and Alexa, this is the other match that it's a must-see.
And I want to say I'm a little upset, but not really, because I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when the Evolution announcement was made, that we were going to get a Battle Royal. There was no way they were going to fit all 50 women into the show. And I said it. You guys heard it here first on Wrestling with Siblings, that we were going to get a Battle Royal at Evolution. The reason why I'm a little upset is because you can do better than that. You can showcase them in different ways that doesn't involve a Battle Royal. By the reaction on social media because of the women, you can tell they weren't pleased. But I'm also happy because they're getting a match. They're going to get the opportunity. You're going to see the women there regardless, and they're going to get the opportunity to prove themselves. And I will support whatever match they are given at Evolution.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all wanted to see more singles competition, more, and hopefully it does happen. I mean, they still have, I believe,
a week.
A week
from Sunday, pretty much.
A week from Sunday, so that anything could happen. Hopefully we get to see more matches instead of the Battle Royal. And again, like you said, I have to agree with you. They've come along, the women have come a long way. To get this pay-per-view, whatever they get, it's going to be a win. No matter,
it is.
No matter what,
yeah.
Whether it's a Battle Royal or if it's a couple matches, it's only the first pay-per-view, and it's only going to get better from that.
And regardless, I'm going to support it, whether, like you said, whatever it is, they deserve the support, and they are definitely going to have it from Wrestling with Siblings. But I do feel like they could have done a lot better rather than putting everybody into a Battle Royal. All right.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next match, which is going to be the New Day versus The Bar for the tag team titles.
I was very surprised with this match. I'll get into the result really, really quickly. That way we can analyze both sides. The Bar won the tag titles. I actually didn't think the New Day were going to lose it this soon. I thought they were going to be champion for a lot longer than what they actually were.
But keep in mind, that Big Show came out and helped them out, helped the bar
Exactly.
out, and which was, total surprise. We didn't expect that. I think nobody saw that coming, but the numbers are even now. They don't have the New Day doesn't have the number. They didn't have the numbers advantage now.
That was kind of weird, though, to kind of just see the Big Show come out and help him win the titles. I was kind of like, what? Why the Big Show? I guess we'll end up finding out. But he did end up helping the bar win the tag titles.
And again, everybody thought Xavier was the weak link out of the New Day. I'm pretty sure we all could agree with that. But, lately, these past couple months, he's been on a roll, and you can see his improvement since when he was first in New Day. He really didn't get into a lot of the matches. It was always Big E and Kofi, and now we're seeing more of Xavier Woods.
The bar, incredible. At first, I never thought they were going to go far, to be honest. I thought it was just going to be like a temporary tag team because, WWE likes to throw things just out there. But I was surprised, and they have been able to coexist super, super well. They know each other super well at this point. They're always trying to split the ring, trying to get their opponent to not get to their actual tag team. And I feel like that's an advantage. They're super smart individuals, incredibly talented.
Not only that, Big E and Kofi are always the creative ones out of the New Day. They're always coming up with new moves. They're always finding a way to entertain us inside the ring. Going
above and beyond for the business. All right, let's get into the return of Rey Mysterio. Sorry, I said it that way. I just had to. Rey Mysterio versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Cup qualifying match. Rey Mysterio returning after being gone for a really long time. We did see him at the Royal Rumble, but again, it's not the same as seeing somebody in singles competition on a weekly basis. I was incredibly impressed with, the athleticism that he has. I do feel, though, that he was a little bit slower than what he used to be before. But that's because he's getting older, and it plays a toll in your body, obviously.
Age was definitely a factor, and, you can start seeing it in his career. But even then, he looked impressive.
Yeah.
He's one of the most creative guys we've ever seen. For his size, his speed, his agility, his high-flying skills. It's just amazing. He's been all over the world, and wherever he's gone, he's impressed everybody. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Exactly.
And it didn't look like he lost a beat. He's still...
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But again, with now losing a beat, I'm not surprised. He was wrestling in the Indies for years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he never really left wrestling. So he's kind of gotten that practice over the last couple of years, but he does look incredible, and age does play a factor. I do feel like he wasn't as fast as he usually is, but that's fine because for his age, he's still damn good. Shinsuke Nakamura, glad he is back on a weekly basis. We've seen him over the last, 3-4 weeks now. I want to see him defend the championship, though, the U.S. championship. I think it's just kind of been floating around. It's kind of been irrelevant over the last couple of months. His title reign hasn't really done much. Yeah.
Been great. I think a lot of that, too, has to do with Randy Orton, because he's been kind of, interfering in a lot of his matches.
Exactly. He's always trying to cost Shinsuke Nakamura something. It's funny because it's not even going up against Shinsuke Nakamura. It's going up against our opponent. But, that could play a factor in why it is that way. You know what I mean? So Rey Mysterio hits the 619, and then he qualifies for the World Cup for the best in the world. So far, it's Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, The Miz from SmackDown. And then from Raw, we have Seth Rollins,
Kurt Angle,
John Cena, and Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
So, pretty stacked match that we're going to see. I'm looking forward to seeing that incredible talent. Again, I do feel like they should have had a variety of countries being represented just because it is a World Cup. But it is what it is. And I think this was pointless, to be honest. Nothing against Taker. I love him. Huge fan. But he basically just came out and had 3 words for Shawn and Triple H DX. Pretty much just 3 words were rest in peace. So it was kind of like, really?
Yeah. Another thing, too, I was a little bit disappointed in SmackDown. I thought that SmackDown 1000 was going to be a lot more bigger event. It was going to be a lot more exciting. It really wasn't up to where it has been lately.
Up to its full potential, to put it that way. Again, piggybacking on that, I feel like the show should have been 3 hours just for today. It's not going to be a weekly, everyday thing. I feel like they tried to squeeze what could have been a fantastic show into just 2 hours. You just can't. It was a stacked card, don't get me wrong. But I feel like everybody got limited time just because it was 2 hours and they were trying to fit everything into that short period amount of time.
And like you said, just because it was SmackDown 1000, it was a special show, and it was a big show. They should have just gone for a 3-hour show instead of a 2, just for at least once.
For a one night only.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on Wrestling with Siblings. I am back. I'm glad to be here with you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let people know that we are a thing, that we are doing reviews, and that we have a podcast. For those of you that don't know, you can vote for us as we got nominated for 3 categories for the Wrestling Podcast Awards. Shout out to the Wrestle Hub for the nomination, considering us for you guys. If you guys want to vote, I'll go ahead and put the link in the description. You can vote as many times as you want. Just make sure you guys hit the one that says at WWSiblings. And for those of you that do not know what WWS stands for, Armando, what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Again, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you
next week here on Wrestling with Siblings. Have a great night, everybody.